Hi, my name is Marcus Gallagher-Jones. I'm a staff scientist at the RFI here. I work in the correlated imaging theme. So we have two microscopes in our theme. They're both named after microscopy scientists Ruska and Crew. Ruska, who developed the first electron microscope. Crew was the first person to create a scanning transmission electron microscope. So Ruska is enormous. It's almost 2 stories high. So I guess if size counts, that's probably the coolest. It has all of craziest pieces of kit. It's like a microscope with all the bells and whistles. And we use, weirdly, these giant microscopes to look at really tiny things. So we're trying to look at atoms with these things. What limits the ability to visualize something is what we call the wavelength of the light. So the kind of oscillation of the light. The period of that oscillation, so how long it takes to go from one peak to the next, that distance is what defines how small of an object we can see. So visible light, that's about 1/4 of a micrometer, 250 nanometers, about the smallest you can see. You want to go smaller, we often use X-rays, like the synchrotron that you might just about be able to see in the background of me. And X-rays, they have wavelengths that are now an angstrom, which is 1/10 of a nanometer. Electrons are even smaller than that. So electrons do actually have a wavelength similar to light, even though they aren't photons. And that wavelength is small enough that we can use the electrons alongside lenses, kind of like we would do in a conventional microscope, but we use electromagnets to actually bend the path of the electrons. We can then use them to produce an image. And because the wavelength is so small, we can see very tiny things like an atom. Often what we're looking at are small changes. And they might be small changes in a molecule, but let's say that's affecting a larger cell. A lot of these interactions can cause cascades that actually affect on much larger areas, right? So we don't just want to look at the precise event that we think is important, but we want to see, can we see the wider context of the results of that event? So we're kind of exploring different ways to boost image and contrast, see higher resolution objects, look at much larger fields of view at very, very high resolution. So where, you're looking at length scales that you would see in an optical microscope, but the kind of atomic resolutions that you'd be able to achieve in an electron microscope. Molecules wiggle on the time scale of like femto to picoseconds. So in microseconds, there's loads of stuff happening. Chemistry is like attoseconds. So yeah, we can go to really high temporal resolution as well as achieving the high spatial resolution.